We are live back with another edition, a special edition of Your Wildest Fantasy Football Show. It is our first start sit episode. This is mainly for those of you watching. There's no one watching right now, but hopefully the plan is for somebody to be watching, maybe even several people to be watching and to ask us your questions, particularly for today. If you have any start sit questions for today in week 14, but also just any fantasy football questions. Depending on how many questions we get, we'll take questions on pretty much anything. So fantasy, I would say the fantasy football start sit questions prioritized first.
Right.
Other fantasy football questions second, and then I would say like any personal questions like address, social security number, blood type, those kind of things go next. And I do want to talk about quickly just the fashion choices that we made for today's episode. Obviously, Toadie's wearing the Corona jersey.
Tuesday,
not drinking
Thursday,
Corona.
Baby.
We did pick out some drinks, and I kind of tied it all in with the outfit and everything. Toadie didn't think too far ahead with that.
I did. Guinness, say what you want about Guinness, but Guinness is the best beer ever drafted. That's why it's called Guinness.
Well, why don't you have a Guinness jersey?
Because Corona doesn't do as well as Guinness, so Guinness doesn't actually need to advertise on jerseys, whereas Corona needs more people to walk around with Corona jerseys on, so more people know about Corona, so they buy it. Whereas
I don't
Guinness
dislike the Corona jersey, and I don't dislike the beer choice. I just wish that there was a little bit more, like togetherness, like it had a little bit more rapport with each other. I wish we got like the similarities there, but this is also not sponsored by either of those companies, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Guinness, you can always sponsor me here, day, night, morning, evening, left, right.
We
God damn it.
see. Do you see the comments?
Yeah.
I
do.
I almost don't want to put it up because I know that's going to be the one that gets put as our thumbnail. So I will just say there's a question, 9or49. Not going to help in the fan power rankings, but did say there's a guy on the left wearing a MAGA outfit. This is not a MAGA outfit. This is just you can't be a Kid Rock fan in America nowadays.
No.
I think Kid Rock spans whatever political beliefs you have. Full disclosure, my aunt, very nice woman, sent me a Christmas gift, and oh my God, Cody's house disappeared.
It did. It's okay. No teleportation. Just gotta fix it for a minute here.
But
continue about your aunt.
Wonderful group of gifts. This shirt and this bandana was in the group, and you know what? I care about my aunt. Sue me.
I don't want to sue you.
And to bring everything together, I'm drinking a nice, lukewarm Genesee. So,
hey, cheers.
Cheers. Oh, that is wonderful. And throughout the show, I will also, again, in the Kid Rock spirit, be eating my leftover Taco Bell from last night.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Well, let's get into what we're actually here to talk about, fantasy football. Jamar Jefferson. It's not a question, it's a statement. And I kind of agree. I put Jamar Jefferson as my running back 24 ahead of some guys like Alex Collins, Devontae Freeman, Chase Edmonds, Ty Johnson. Yeah, I mean, we've kind of seen some guys have some success here. I think he is going to be at least the leader of the committee in a game where, I mean, we've seen this team not really have many other weapons outside of the running backs. So,
yeah, I'm with you. Godwin's last name's just way too big, and I think that the coaching staff are going to feel gracious after getting that win over the injured, beat down Vikings last week. That they're just going to be like, hey, commentators, take the week off. Jefferson's a nice, easy name. We're just going to give the ball to him. And he does
Jefferson actually, does he have a longer name or the same amount of letters? He has the same amount of letters in his last
but
name.
it's just way easier to say.
Okay.
Can you say Godwin's last name for me?
No, but I don't discriminate. So
It's tough.
just because I can't pronounce it doesn't mean they shouldn't play. But we've seen in the past that I think the Detroit Lions, like Jamar Jefferson, has been the top guy that they go to, or the next guy in the rotation that they go to. So, like, although last week he was not, I suppose it kind of makes it more complicated. I feel a little bit more confident in Jamar Jefferson, but it is a call that you can make. I put Godwin at 31, so I'm not having them too separated, but he's the one that I would choose out of the two.
Yeah, I have to go with you there. Godwin's played more games, but Jefferson looks to be performing better when he does get the opportunity.
Full PPR, Ayuk, Dillon, or Freeman? That's a tough call for me. I have Dillon as my running back 22. Ahead of Devontae Freeman, so I guess it's between Dillon and Ayuk. Ayuk is my wide receiver 24. I'd probably go Ayuk. I don't feel great about saying that, but that's probably where I would go. I don't think the matchup helps either of them too much, but Ayuk should be kind of the lead wide receiver here while Debo is taking reps out of the backfield, we presume.
Right. I'm going to go Ayuk. Aaron Jones looks like he's going to be back. So, number one wide receiver or the running back 2 in Green Bay. I don't know. Give me Ayuk.
Tody, are you live streaming on the first Nokia phone?
Second, actually. First one was buried in my backyard. Second one used to record for you lovely folks.
Interesting you chose to bury it.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you. Well, Niner 49 didn't say that I was wearing a MAG outfit. He just asked. And the answer is no. It's a Kid Rock outfit. And like I said before, Kid Rock spans whatever your political beliefs are. I would sing a song by Kid Rock right now, but I think that would get us
demonetized.
Yeah, we already don't make money.
Yeah,
but
so it's even worse.
We don't need them taking money from us.
That's true.
What's up, Second Take Extra? We need any start-sit questions, any fantasy questions, any questions.
Kondo said he will give out his social security number to you and you alone.
I said you could ask the question. Yeah. Whether I do or not, I will, but I guess that's still to be determined. J-Rob, Sony, or Jeff Wilson need one. I say Jeff Wilson is axed immediately.
Yep.
So it goes down between J-Rob and Sony. I have Sony as my RB15 and James Robinson as my running back 17. So I would go Sony. James Robinson, I'm a little bit more worried. Just like that team. I don't think, Jacksonville is not, I would say, ever as likely to score as the Rams, regardless of the matchup. And it's not a great matchup. Tennessee has actually been pretty good. I think they're in the bottom, I want to say 4.
Yeah.
No, they're allowing the 5th least points, fantasy points to opposing running backs. So I'm going Sony.
I mean, it's close. I mean, I'm probably going to lean Sony, but if you start J-Rob, I'm less worried about the matchup just because Tennessee has been struggling mightily. And, I mean, they have no one on that roster anymore who's healthy and can play well. So
this is a question that I think you and me are going to differ on greatly. Zeke, Javonte, or Barkley need one. I've seen Saquon coming in at like the teens in rankings this week. I don't understand that. It's a great matchup. They're not going to be able to throw the ball. I think the other side of the argument would be this team is able to key in on the run a little bit more, and they did key in on the run against Mixon a bit, but they haven't been able to show that they can stop the run consistently in Los Angeles with the Chargers. I have Saquon as my running back 6 this week because, again, like, there's a few more weapons back to open up the offense a little bit, but he's really going to be the main guy here. I trust Saquon, and I'm probably going that route. I have Zeke at running back 9. I am a little bit lower on Javonte. I have him at RB 16 just because if Melvin Gordon plays, is kind of Cody's house came back, but now Cody's gone.
Hey, it'll be okay.
But yeah, I think that I'm probably going Saquon over Zeke. If you trust Zeke a bit more, I wouldn't fight you on that with Pollard out now, but I am leaning Saquon.
I mean, Saquon is the best option for the team, at least. But that O-line is dismal. Like, we've just been seeing it consistently that Taco Bell does look delicious. That the O-line just struggles for the Giants. He does have the best matchup. Is the Chargers. They're going to have to score. But I don't know. I'm not trusting it just because I feel like Mixon has more weapons on his team, better offense, better offensive line, and they're still able to just key in on Mixon and shut him down. So with a lot less options, worse quarterback, much worse offensive line, I feel like they're just going to be able to stop him again. I want to say Zeke, since Pollard, I think is probably the best back and my favorite back out there. But I think it's going to be a Zeke love week for me.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Crunchwrap. It's a really weird way to say it, but I suppose you're right. J-Rob, DJ Moore, Lockett, Jarvis, pick 2 full PPR.
J-Rob, number 1.
I'm probably going James Robinson and Lockett. I think Lockett's he was one of my big surprises when I was doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I have him as a top 10 wide receiver this week, and I did not expect that to be the case.
I mean, you can. I don't know. DJ Moore's going up against Atlanta, though. I mean, it's Atlanta, but you also have Cam Newton as your quarterback. Hoping for a good bounce back week. DK Metcalf's healthy, so.
But we've seen Lockett outperform DK in the last few weeks too. I mean, I have DK at 14, still ahead of DJ Moore on mine, but yeah, Lockett looks like the primary guy right now.
I mean, DK's out targeting him in the last 4 games. It's just that Tyler's been able to, reel him in better.
Mm-hmm.
If you go Lockett, I mean, it's not like the worst decision. I just, for some reason, I'm feeling like DJ Moore against Atlanta's the matchup to have out of those 2 guys.
Fair enough. That kind of brings me to a conversation topic that I knew we would disagree on, so I figured it would be a good time to talk about it. Joe Brady fired after their loss to Miami. Cam Newton versus Atlanta. You say that he is a streaming quarterback this week. A lot of people say he's a streaming quarterback this week. I think I'm more in the minority here. I had him as my QB 17. Just worried a bit about the downside there, the floor, I suppose, after a single-digit week. I can see the upside, but I'm just not sure that this Carolina offense has shown enough to show that there is a safe floor, where with some of the other quarterbacks that I had above him being Joe Burrow, Carr, Heineke, Tannehill, Jimmy G, I think those guys are just a little bit safer bets. They have a little bit more likelihood to at least give you 14 points, where Cam probably has more of a likelihood to give you over 20, but also has more of a likelihood to get you 8.
Yeah, I mean, I like Cam. Quick fun fact: who has a rushing touchdown for quarterbacks in every single game that they played this year? Cam Newton is the only guy. 3 for 3. One against Arizona, one against Washington, one against Miami. He's playing at Atlanta. I'd put Atlanta's defense definitely in that mix of, if not worse, in those teams. He has the best chance to give you a rushing touchdown out of maybe almost every quarterback out there, really. They don't have CMC, so it's going to damper him a lot. But, I trust it. If Cam doesn't throw picks, which he probably will, but, I mean, if he can just happen to throw the same amount of picks as he does touchdowns, he's definitely going to get you a rushing touchdown, rushing yards. I love Cam. I mean, especially against Atlanta this week.
Yeah, I feel a little bit more scared, but I think a lot of people are going with Cam, so I guess we will see how that goes.
Yeah.
Quickly, tissue paper or toilet paper? After Taco Bell, I say toilet paper.
It's Christmas, so if I'm wrapping a gift, tissue paper, put that in the bag.
I suppose it depends on your situation and what you need most.
Mhm.
I will most likely need toilet paper, toady, Christmas giving season, tissue paper.
I'm just a very giving guy.
Terry or Jamar Chase? I'm going Jamar Chase by a fairly wide margin. Terry facing Diggs, and Jamar Chase gets a pretty good matchup against San Francisco with 2 of their starting corners out.
Yeah, go Jamar Chase. He's kind of due, he's kind of due for one of those big games again that we were seeing earlier on in the season.
Niner 49 is on my side. I would say pretty big occasion as well. That doesn't happen often. So whenever me and Niner 49 agree, I have to share it.
Hey.
Tody, I think this is the big one. This is the big one that I wanted to talk about as well.
He should. I mean,
Alvin Kamara should
let
be
me just put this into perspective for everyone. Alvin Kamara has never been the number 1 overall draft pick. Antonio Brown has been the number 1 overall draft pick fantasy football leagues before. Some would even say a year or 2 ago. Antonio Brown is.
I don't think so.
I definitely.
I feel like it has to be at least 3.
I said at least 2 or 3.
No. You said a year or 2 ago.
Yeah, year or 2.
Not 3.
That'd be 2019. We're about to hop into 2022. That'd be 3 years.
You said a year or 2 ago.
Yeah, which would be 2019.
All right. I don't think I agree, but
it's okay. Anyway, Antonio Brown, no one would say, hey, we should have dropped this guy a long time ago. But just because of his recent choices on and off the field, he's now droppable. AK-41, it's not quite his, choices that make him droppable, quite like Antonio. But it's just the fact that the Saints organization is going to sit him down and say, hey, we're not going to risk hurting our best player when we have absolutely no other weapons out here, and we're not going to be in the playoff hunt. So it makes sense if you think about it. If you care about people's safety and well-beings, it makes sense. But if you're heartless, selfish, just not in the Christmas spirit, then it won't make sense to you. But it just really depends on where your heart's at, really.
Well, that brings me to my running back 1 on the week. Alvin Kamara. He's missed the last 4 weeks. He plays the Jets.
He will not be running back 1 on the week.
I'm not playing. What was I saying? Oh, I was talking about something. Yeah. I'm not the one that's putting him out there on the field, so I don't know if I'm heartless in your opinion, but he is playing. And if I have a fantasy team and I can't change the fact of whether he's playing or not, I feel like you have to start him, and you have to feel very good about starting him against the Jets team that is abysmal against running backs and pretty abysmal in general.
Hey, he's going to get you 1 week, then they're going to shove him down for the year. I mean, Taysom Hill takes away his potential. We saw,
But who out there?
They have no one else out there.
Who? So I mean, what other running backs do you want to like talk about? And how has that stopped him so far this year? I mean, he was awesome when he played.
But he didn't have Taysom as his quarterback though.
So, yeah. Well, last time you said he's never had Taysom as his quarterback, Michael Thomas hurt, and coming off an injury. That's the most particular situation ever because it can only happen one time. So
I mean, Derrick Henry's injured. CMC's injured. Dalvin got injured.
So who
twice.
else are you going to?
Zeke got injured. I mean,
who would be your running back one this week? I suppose is my question.
Oh, Dalvin all the way, baby. Dalvin's running back one.
Dalvin already played.
He's still my running back. You asked me.
Who's your running back one for Sunday?
Sunday, JT.
JT has a bye week, so
still give it to him. Him over Kamara.
All right. Well, this conversation, I suppose, isn't worth having. I
don't know. Kamara's gonna have a good week, but he's not gonna be as good as he's averaging 20 points right now. He's not gonna get you 20 points every game rest of the season. Taysom Hill.
Yeah, I don't care if he gets me 20 points in every single game because you know who does that? Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry are the only two players to do that. That's just a different breed.
Right. But I mean, he is Taysom Hill. We saw it last week. Mark Ingram isn't Kamara, but Mark Ingram is better than most backups.
And they stopped the run pretty well. I mean, I don't think
they gave him 6 runs though.
I believe that Kamara is going to average 20 points per game the rest of the season. I'll make that bet with you.
They gave him 10 rushes last week. That's it.
Okay. Then it seems like it would be a very good bet for you to take.
That Kamara gets 20 points in every single game for the rest of the season.
That's not what I said. Kamara averages 20 points throughout the rest of the season.
Starting from this week on?
Yep.
What week is it? 14?
14.
Sure.
Okay. There we go. Full PPR pick one, Mike Williams, Lockett, or Julio. I'm going Lockett, although I think they're all very good plays.
I think I have to go with you. I just don't love Lockett. I mean, DK's back. They're going to be playing Houston. I don't think Houston's going to be keeping up the entire time. Just not what I'm seeing. I like Mike Williams a little bit, but I mean it's the Giants though, and I just also don't think that Giants are going to be scoring, so they're not going to have to throw the ball 1,000 times.
I have Mike Williams as my wide receiver 18. Mm-hmm. I have Julio as my wide receiver 20, but Lockett in the top 10. I'm oddly high on Julio.
That's kind of
high on weed. I'm high on Julio. There's no way that he gets 20 the rest of the season. Are you that effing crazy? Again, with the language, 949. Baby. I mean, in full point PPR, I think it's very possible.
Tennessee's playing Jacksonville. What a weird time to bring Julio back.
It is interesting. He was just activated off of the IR. I mean, at 20, if you just say Julio Jones, wide receiver 20, it's a little bit weird. I think you would go whoa. But if you see some of the names behind him, I think it makes more sense. So I only have him one spot ahead of Odell. Mooney, Van Jefferson, Ayuk, Shepard, Crowder, Jarvis. I don't think there's any names there that you can say he definitely doesn't score more than. I think the one argument might be Odell. But I would listen to that and I would be okay, I obviously only have them one spot apart, so I don't think that it's that crazy, but I feel pretty decent again about Julio in a great matchup when there's no one else to get the ball to.
Yeah. Where do you have Hunter?
I have Hunter Renfro as my wide receiver 11 on the week.
Okay, good. About to say, I was like, you got to put him up there. I mean,
no, Hunter Renfro is I mean, that's nuts. Everybody wants to denounce Hunter Renfro, and I mean, he's been unbelievable. He's now kind of their one option out there. Their one consistent option out there at wide receiver with Darren Waller out. So, yeah, I mean, Hunter Renfro is a wide receiver one, especially in PPR purposes when we talk about probably the safest wide receiver out there.
So, Kondo, we're about at the halfway point here. You finish yet? Yeah,
No, I feel like you got to head start.
I didn't have a head start. I didn't crack it open until we started.
We want to say it's all about responsible drinking on this show. So whatever pace you drink at, that is your choice, and do so responsibly.
No.
Also, if you're over the age of 21, then you should drink. You should not drink under the age of 21.
Unless you're in Europe or any other country in the world except for America. If you're in America, you have to be 21.
Fair enough.
If you're in Japan, it's
as you can tell.
Well, you're in America. I'm all over the place, baby.
It's true. Cody's not even in his home.
Nope, I'm not.
He's
outside
of a brick building of some sort.
Brick House Pizza. Oh man.
Okay.
Major
and it's snowing.
It is snowing where I am.
Thank you all for being a part of what has been, I think, just like a pretty fun time for us. We're closing in on 50 episodes too, which is wild.
Are we stopping? I think we should go for the hour. Let the stragglers come in, kind of.
Are we what?
Are you stopping?
Stopping what?
The rain.
I don't think I have that power. Although it may look like it from just my outfit, I don't have that kind of pull. Ty Johnson, Alex Collins, Rashad Penny, or Rex start 2. Yikes would be my first thing.
That's rough, dude. That's rough.
Second thing would be
rough again.
Let me look here. I'd say give me Alex Collins and Ty Johnson.
Yeah, I have to go with you.
Alex Collins, probably the best matchup you can have against Houston. So if there's any game that he's going to have a good game, it would be this one. Ty Johnson, one of the worst matchups you could have against New Orleans, but kind of, again, in a much, much lighter version of Saquon. Like, who else are they going to get the ball to? I mean, I guess they have a few more options out there, but Corey Davis out. You have Corey Davis out, Elijah Moore out, and both of your top 2 running backs out. I think Ty Johnson might catch like 7 balls today. So that's kind of where I'm going there. No David Johnson for Houston, as Second Take Extra says. I just don't know if that matters, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. I mean, Houston really only has, Brandon Cooks. Tyrod's out. So not anyone else in the backfield to take any of the carries from you. So kind of like Rex, but I think that Houston's going to be behind just because of the wide receiver superiority that the Seattle offense has. So give me Alex Collins and Ty Johnson. What are you doing, dude?
The paper stuck to the, I don't know. I can't call it a burrito. It's like a Chipotle chicken melt. And now I got to get the paper off.
I do love a good chipotle.
Like the melts or like actual Chipotle?
Actual chipotle, yeah.
Every time I eat chipotle, I just feel sick. I don't know what it is. It's probably the E. coli, but
there's no E. coli in chipotle.
Okay, there's definitely some E. coli in chipotle.
Okay, then if we're gonna be that broad about it, there's Ebola everywhere. But
I didn't say there's Ebola anywhere.
What'd you say, E. coli?
I said E. coli, yes. But no one's had like stuff come out about E. coli breakout in their food besides chipotle. Of recent, anyway.
Someone has to be the market.
Like, what can you think of? Can you name another place that has a story that's like a huge story about E. coli.
I never even heard of the E. coli outbreak in Chipotle.
What happened?
So
And then it happened with
I never
AJ
heard
Brown.
of it, so I don't know. I never heard about it.
You got to do your research, buddy. Also, when you order Taco Bell online, there's like a bottom statement that's like, read about cancer and like reproductive harm. And I see that every time, and I'm like, man, I really want a burrito, and I still do it. And it's probably not the right decision, but it's a decision that I make consciously.
I'm starting to see that.
But it's a problem. Anyway,
problems are only solutions that you haven't solved yet, Kondo.
Suppose that's true. 949 has some research for us. All of Chipotle's stuff is fresh, which is good and bad because it can have a bleep load of bacteria in it. Again, with the language, we really got to get that censored.
No, I love it. I love it.
I don't know if anyone can censor 949.
I love 949's authenticity here.
It's just I would say authenticity, just complete disregard for just like I suppose we aren't authority, but like as the people on the show, I feel like we remind him plenty of times. Watch the language a little bit. Just keeps throwing them out there. But some of the greatest people in history have not listened to authority, and look where it's got them. So I think great things are ahead for 949.
Yeah, like JFK, Abe Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt, a lot of great guys. Renfro Wilson.
Some of the many names.
Hey, buddy, my family owns it. Watch it. Oh wow.
What does your family own?
Apparently his family owns it. I mean, that's cool.
Like that's a lucrative business, movie enterprise. Got any underdogs? I forgot that I normally do my bet slip on Sundays, and I just
you do
completely forgot that that's not going to happen this week. Sorry if anyone was looking forward to that on my Instagram at Ryan_Kondo. Tody, you want to throw yours out here while I'm looking up the
I just have to look up what my Instagram thing is. I'm not really smart at that. Cody_UF24.
There you go. Throw a follow if you so choose.
Throw a follow, throw a like.
A lot of stuff going on in the personal, like I suppose not personal life, but the life outside of Your Wildest Fantasy Show with other content coming out. So be sure to check that out.
Yeah, Kondo did just release a song this week.
I just released a song, and it's like it has some real Kid Rock vibes. Maybe not in the sound or in the content, but I think if Kid Rock heard it, he would say, for a smidge of a second, this kid was thinking about me. Maybe not while he was writing, recording, or releasing the song, but when he got the shirt that has my name on it. And that's what really matters. So the link to that, if you want to listen to a song and just, stream it over and over and over again, it's in my my bio on Instagram. So check that out at Ryan_Kondo.
Nice.
Looking at the lines, I mean, the Ravens being underdogs to the Browns is very intriguing to me.
I know. They did just beat them, right?
I'm also coming to the sense that this might be fantasy underdogs as well, and not bet underdogs.
I think we should just do straight up bet underdogs. Just keep them more entertaining that way.
But I just want to. I'll answer both. I think the Falcons have a chance to win this week. Those are probably my two that I like.
So, unlike Kondo, I'm just going to go straight in here on all the underdogs. Pretty sure I lost. I lost it. Yep. I don't have a pending transaction anymore. So, never mind. I must have lost already. Don't know how that's possible.
Okay.
So, I can't do it.
You said you were going to go straight into it.
Yeah, I thought I was, and then it lost it.
Didn't go into anything. You didn't say one underdog.
Well, it's completely gone, so I don't know what to do.
Fantasy underdogs. I think
Oh,
one of the big
fantasy
ones for me is probably
Freeman, maybe.
Jamar Jefferson. I would say that's probably the biggest one on the week at the running back position. At quarterback, I have Taysom Hill pretty high up. I think that Taysom Hill, he's my QB8. I have in my head of guys like Dak, Lamar, Russ, Joe Burrow. Jets feel like he can have a really good rushing day against the Jets. Hunter Renfro, big one as well. Wide receiver 11 on the week. Looking through, I think Sterling Shepard is still a good play this week, coming back off of injury. Wide receiver 25. So like him as well. And those are probably my big underdogs for fantasy plays.
I like it. Deontay Foreman, definitely a guy I think is an underdog. You know, Hillard came out strong last week. Came out real strong. Outperformed him by, decimals. I think he's, got the underdog mentality. Give me some Foreman. Give me some Foreman this week.
I have Hilliard at 20 and Foreman at 21. We talked about.
Your disrespect on his name is unreal right now.
We talked about both of them as far as it's kind of a coin flip.
Yeah, it's really close for both of them.
Oh, boy.
The song Bump in the Whip.
Suppose it does. I guess that is up to interpretation. We already have issues. I don't want to say I saw this coming, but I'm going to be honest. I may have seen this coming.
We already have issues? With what? What do we have issues with?
Probably the song.
Kondo doesn't have a song, apparently, guys. We lied to you. Sorry.
If it's bad, it's not really me. That's the main thing to remember here.
It's definitely Kondo all day, every day. I'm going to have to delete that. I don't know who he is.
I want to talk about Leonard Fournette. I've been looking a lot of places, and he's been a top 5 play.
Wow.
Yeah, against Buffalo. And I get that Buffalo has not played great against the run against
as of late.
Indy and against New England. But I also feel like if there's any two teams to perform poorly against the run then those would probably be two of the top ones.
Yeah.
And I'm not I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the New England game, the winds were whipping around there at 158 miles an hour. Like it was a miracle by Jesus himself.
Oh,
that
I want to interrupt for a second and say Niner 49 doesn't have issues with anyone on the show. He has issues with his neighbors, which is fine. You can have any and all issues with your neighbors.
Yeah, I mean, hey, neighbors are meant to be pissed off. That's just kind of what a neighbor does.
But back to discussion at hand. Leonard Fournette.
Yeah. Leonard Fournette, I like Lenny. There's worse running backs to have. Leonard's been on a tear as of late. And I mean, honestly, it's just Chris Godwin and Mike Evans now. For those of you who don't know, we have a bad situation here with Antonio, more than likely out, maybe for life. But anyway, should be for life. But hey, I'm not the judge, jury, executioner out here. Well, you saw the report, right?
What?
Beastie out.
Okay. I don't know if that's continue.
Anyway, playoff Lenny here has been looking like playoff Lenny for the past season, really. Like he's been looking good. I mean, if you look at his numbers, man, like he's actually been performing very well when it's just Godwin and Evans out there. I mean, 17, 13, 44, 22. I mean, he looks good. I like Lenny. Give me Lenny.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind him In fantasy purposes, I have him as a running back 12 on the week. So like,
So you hate him.
still a running back 1 in my case, but like people had him at 4. I had guys like Chubb and Mixon, and I get Mixon's coming off of that illness that had him questionable, but I'm not too I don't know, worried about that in comparison.
Well, I'm not worried about it.
Leonard Fournette against a pretty good run defense. Beasley versus Tampa or Guyton versus the Giants. PPR. I'm going Guyton. There's a little bit of like at least a hope of a ceiling for Guyton as far as just having the capability of having a 7-catch day or an 8-catch day and like being pretty efficient with that as well, or filling a Keenan Allen role of sorts, where with Beasley, there's no floor, and I don't think there's as much of an expectation for that high of a ceiling. I think that the floor with both guys is pretty risky just because, I mean, Guyton we haven't seen play, and Beasley, the floor has been risky, but Guyton, I would say, has a bit more upside, and that's why I would play him against a Giants team that is not that good.
Give me anyone except for Beasley. We talked about, I think it was either this week or last week.
We talked about it on Tuesday.
Yeah, I think it was Tuesday. People who would be okay dropping, and I said Emmanuel Sanders and Cole Beasley are both guys who I'm okay with dropping just because of their constant disappointment so far in the season.
I feel disgusting.
Why do you feel disgusting? What's wrong, Condo?
I had breakfast Taco Bell and a warm Genesee. And I'm wearing a Kid Rock outfit.
I don't know why you feel disgusting about it. All right,
I feel great, but there's a part of me that feels great, but there's also a part of me that regrets every decision I've ever made. Best future defense: Colts, Dolphins, Eagles. I think going to need a second to look at who each of those teams play.
They're all on bye this week, so.
Well, I think that's why they said future.
Well, I'm letting everyone else know.
Okay.
They're playing So Colts are playing New England, Arizona, Las Vegas. Final 3 games, because we only go to week 17, correct?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. Miami is playing the Jets, New Orleans, and Tennessee. Give me the Jets. Give me the Dolphins. Holy cow. That's a great schedule.
Before even looking at the Eagles.
Eagles is Washington, Giants, Washington?
Yep.
I guess Eagles or Dolphins. I mean, honestly, Washington really only has Scary Terry and Antonio Gibson if I'm going to play Antonio Gibson. But the weeks I don't play Antonio Gibson, then he just doesn't perform.
I would probably stick with the Dolphins. I just think that they're a better defense. Them and the Colts are probably the 2 best defenses in the mix. So those are the 2 that I would go with.
Eagles have the best record, or the best easiest schedule. Yeah, best easiest schedule.
Fair. I don't know. Washington hasn't been bad of late, but they're also a defensive team. So
right.
I'd probably go Dolphins just because they have a Jets matchup, they have a New Orleans matchup, and then I think by the time you get to Tennessee, like if you're really banking on these 3 teams or on this team to get you all of the 3 weeks, maybe the Eagles, but I would probably keep the Dolphins for the Jets week, see what happens, and then don't mind playing them against New Orleans, and then try to find somebody for that Tennessee matchup. Kicker rankings? My answer is no.
I'll do some kickers. All right. What you got people in mind, or you just want like a general consensus?
I don't. I said no.
No,
we can see if Cole has more people in mind.
If Mr.
Jamar Chase or Van Jefferson. Yeah, I think I'm going Jamar Chase. I have Jamar Chase 12. I have Van Jefferson 23.
Yeah, give me Jamar over the 3rd wide receiver.
kicker rankings?
I mean, if you want me to go by name, I don't know what you want from me.
I would love to hear your thoughts on some particular kickers. I would have to look up as well what kickers that would be. But
so Mason Crosby is the lowest, or is the best lowest ranked guy, rostered in literally 50% of leagues. Green Bay looking good, obviously. Green Bay is also playing Chicago. Peace. Are you leaving? What's up, dude?
no, I did one and then I did two. You said Green Bay. I think you said like good team, and then you said they were playing Chicago.
Right, they're playing Chicago. Chicago's defense they're better. Their defense is the best part of their team. So, and even that's not great. So I think they might have a couple of drives where they stop them at like the 30-yard line. Mason Crosby just kicks a couple 40-yarders. So give me Mason. Love Mason.
Cool.
Don't know what else you want. Yeah.
Just Mason.
Give me some Randy Bullock too. I don't know why. I just feel like with Julio back, they might try to air it out, but they might get down the field, then just try to run it, get stopped a bunch of times, do a couple of chip shot field goals. So both those guys, I don't know.
Fair enough.
Go Bears.
Were you a big Bears fan today? Was that one of your underdogs?
I will actually never be a Bears fan in my entire life, but full disclosure, it's just because I don't like the Bears. More of a Lions and Tiger guy myself, honestly. Lions, Tigers, then Bears. Just because Wizard of Oz was just such a formidable movie. When I was growing up, watched it maybe 4 to 5 times an hour. You really let it sink in to let you know some people need a brain, some people need a heart, some people just need a new pair of shoes from a corpse that's underneath a house. There's always just some underlining thing that you really need.
I need a new pair of shoes pretty badly. Let's talk about news just came out. I can't say just came out now.
Came out 6 seconds ago. First
optimism that Chase Edmonds will be activated tomorrow and have a role on Monday Night Football. What are your expectations for him? I talked about earlier, I have him as my running back 27, and I have James Conner as my running back 11 on the week. We saw Chase Edmonds not really score a lot when he was around, and we saw James Conner score a lot while he was around in a game between the Rams and the Cardinals, which we expect a lot of scoring. I would bet on James Conner being a part of that. So what are your expectations for Chase Edmonds in his return and for James Conner?
So Chase Edmonds had 1 touchdown through week 9. James Conner, I believe he had 11 through week 9. So James Conner is the touchdown guy, whereas Chase Edmonds is kind of the yardage, get us downfield, and then we're going to give it to James, and James is going to carry us into the end zone. Sort of back. I like Chase Edmonds a lot. I think he's a really good football player. But there's just so many mouths to feed on this Arizona offense. I mean, Kyler Murray can run in. You have 2 running backs who can run in. You have 4 wide receivers who everyone loves. You have Zach Ertz, just one of the most lovable tight ends in the league out there too. I mean, you have 7 other guys competing besides Chase Edmonds for a touchdown opportunity. I really like Chase Edmonds. I just don't think he has that touchdown upside, and I can't see a scenario where he runs for 150 yards to get you 15 fantasy points. Like, I just can't see it.
Yeah, I think the hope is that he just catches a ton of balls. But
right,
I'm expecting them to bring him along pretty slowly. I think James Conner showed them a lot too. I don't think it's going to be as even of a split as it was, because before it was like Edmonds was kind of the primary guy until they got in close, and then it was Connor. But like, I don't think it's going to be that anymore. I think Connor has shown that he probably deserves to be the primary guy with Edmonds sprinkled in as well. And Connor getting all of the goal line looks. So I feel pretty good about James Conner this week. Score at least. And probably sitting Edmonds if I have most other options. Like I have Devontae Freeman ahead of him. I have Alex Collins ahead of him. I have Chuba ahead of him. AJ Dillon. So
Yeah, Chase Edmonds he's a guy I really like.
As a player, yeah.
As like real player, he's a great guy. But
just in getting to know him too through your after school programs.
Exactly. But looking at the numbers here,
great heart.
James Conner had more carries week 1. They were tied week 2, tied week 3. James Conner week 4, James Conner week 5, 6. Chase Edmonds, week 7, week 8, James Conner, and then obviously week 9, Chase Edmonds goes down, and it was all James Conner. But I mean, James Conner is the guy who gets more of the work anyway. James Conner, I think, is going to continue just because he has looked phenomenal. I mean, as of late. So James Conner is the only back I'm going to save and start then.
Agreed. Ty Johnson or Alex Collins. I think Collins gets a touchdown and Ty doesn't and is playing in a tough matchup. I think that tough matchup part is the reason that I go Collins there. Mm-hmm. Full point PPR, I think it is a little bit closer just because I expect Ty Johnson to catch a lot of balls, but I'm still going Collins because I think of a more likelihood to score and a likelihood for a more efficient day as well.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Cool. Going on to, let's talk about tight ends. We haven't talked about any tight ends this week. Actually, we have another question. So Terry, Hollywood, Sony, pick one. I'm going Sony.
Hollywood or Sony?
Yes, I agree.
It's not Terry. It's got to be Hollywood or Sony, but I don't think you're going to go wrong with either of them this week.
I think Hollywood has a bit of a tough matchup, but I still have him as my wide receiver 13.
Right. I mean, he's playing Cleveland. Cleveland has a fantastic defense, and then they just ground and pound the entire game because Baker can't throw the football. So it's going to be tougher for Hollywood, but he also is the only guy out there to catch balls besides Mark Andrews. So that's just why I like him. Sony, there's a lot more competition. But, I mean, if you're picking this guy for your flex, you're in a great position to have Hollywood and Sony be your flex option.
I would go Sony just because of kind of what you said. Like, I think going back to what I said with James Conner, like we expect points to be scored in that game, and more points to be scored there than in the Cleveland. I think the Cleveland-Baltimore game is going to be pretty low scoring, right? Just because Baltimore offense hasn't looked at its best of late, and certainly the Cleveland offense hasn't as well, and a little bit more defense in that game. But I also had Hollywood as my wide receiver 13 because I think he got 13 targets last week in a game where he didn't perform well. So even when he's not performing well, like he's getting the target share. So I would not bank on him to give you lackluster performances back to back as long as he's getting that kind of target share.
Right.
We're getting into tight ends. I think the top 4 is pretty chalk as far as Kelsey, Kittle, Mark Andrews, Rob Gronkowski. I don't think anybody would have many debates about that. And then it kind of gets into the tier 2 guys, which I think are taken in most leagues.
Right.
But guys, you're probably starting out there every week, although they're not giving you the top tier numbers in Dawson Knox, Dalton Schultz, or at least top tier consistency. Dalton Schultz, Kyle Pitts, Ertz. And then I would probably go into more of the streaming options. And My guys, I think this kind of goes back to our discussion on Tuesday as well with some of the drops.
Mhm.
Cole Kmet is at 9 for me. Tyler Higbee, Ricky Seals-Jones with Logan Thomas out for the year.
Mhm.
Foster Moreau, I think they play Kansas City, could have a comeback in
Right.
this one. My guy James O at 13. I'm actually starting James O in a league. I'm very excited about it. And then I have Noah Fant at 14, which is in a like primetime matchup. I just don't. I mean, all of these Denver guys outside of the running backs, I just don't trust to get
Yeah,
me
it's
anything
hard.
because they
It's hard
spread
to
the ball
trust
out.
them. It's hard to trust them, and it has to be put on the quarterback at least a little bit. Um, Teddy Two Gloves Bridgewater is not the most accurate quarterback out there. I mean, I've been saying this for a couple quarterbacks this year. I just kind of call quarterbacks out when I see bad play. It's bad play. Wide receivers usually get the rep, but it's quarterbacks who get all the glory. I'm just trying to switch the script here. So yeah, it's tough to trust Noah Fant. I don't love James O'Shaughnessy. I definitely think that there's 12 better tight ends.
There is.
I mean, the big four, and then there's another big 8 after that, and then there's another 5 guys probably before James O'Shaughnessy. But hey,
I put him at 13. I don't have him in the top 12.
good.
I don't know. I'd rather play him than Fant. I'd rather play him than Hooper. I'd rather play him than Everett. I'd rather play him than Ozama. I'd rather play him than Ingram, Cook, Ryan
I
Griffin.
think Uzama.
I just don't think the like consistent target share is there.
No, but I don't think James O'Shaughnessy should be your week in, week out starter.
I'm saying week
So
14.
that's what week 14. I think Uzma has a good chance. It's going to be a tough matchup with San Francisco, and I mean, when you have Jamar Chase, Higgins, Boyd's kind of the underneath guy. When you have a lot of guys to take pressure off of you, he can get open. Joe Burrow does seem to like scan the field pretty well and doesn't seem to lock in on one guy and feeding the ball. That's just why I kind of like him.
I think that he could be a higher ceiling. I just don't see the floor as much. And San Francisco has been top 3 among defending the tight end as far as fantasy points goes. They have 2 corners out. I think that the matchup leans a little bit more to it as well. But I like the safety or the concept of safety that should be associated with James O'Shaughnessy as far as the target share is involved. And he didn't convert on that last week. But he had 6 targets. So like I feel like if he can consistently get you 6 targets, not many guys do that from the tight end position.
That is true.
Including Usama. Like it's and not against him, but like I just think that that's pretty rare for consistency's sake and is something that I'm willing to throw out there as again like tight end 13 to just be like, please don't lose me my week.
Yeah, fair. Kondo, do you do parlays?
From time to time, responsibly.
I did a 8-team parlay for
Okay.
Sunday's game. Would you
I'm
like to
sure
hear?
that'll hit.
Would you
I
like
have
to
faith.
hear?
I want to get the early game and like active inactive notes in before we sign off.
Send it.
Well, we need to get that information first. Is
Okay.
the big
See how
thing.
it is. See how it is.
But Pollard out, J.D. McKissick out, David
Yep.
Johnson out, Ryan Ramczyk out, Alvin Kamara in, Julio Jones in, Curtis Samuel, Landon Collins, Brandon Cooks.
Debo potential in.
Debo is in. He's and like we talked a little bit about that. We expect him to kind of be the primary running back for this team because that's kind of what he has been with Elijah Mitchell out. And Elijah Mitchell is out this week as well. I put Debo as my wide receiver 5, but like he's in that tier where I'm like Super Cup, Devontae, Tyreek, Diggs, Debo. Godwin, and I would say there's a bit of a tier break.
I mean, Justin Jefferson has to be up there for me. One Viking guy.
Well, this is Sunday.
Sorry. I thought you were doing rankings overall. And I was like,
no, because it already happened, so I kind of left that out.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm with you. Cooper Kupp's gonna have a great game. It's gonna be Arizona. It's gonna be a shootout. Tyreek's playing the Raiders. It's gonna be a good game. Devontae, I'm a little worried about because it is Chicago, so he's gonna have to get his points early. But again, it's Devontae Adams. Debo does have a rushing touchdown, and each of the last 3 games that he played, he has 2 in the last one before he left. So I love Debo. Love Diggs against Tampa Bay. It's going to be a great pass day. I mean, I'm with you.
Let me run through the rest of these real quick. David Njoku out. Are you playing Austin Hooper?
No, I don't trust it. I don't trust any pass catcher in Cleveland. I don't trust their quarterback. So no one but the running backs in Cleveland.
He's my tight end 15, one spot behind Fant. So I don't feel great about it. If you're going into that 15th spot at tight end in any case. Tyrod's not starting. Davis Mills in his place. How do you think that's going to impact Brandon Cooks? I say it does not.
I don't think it really affects him. I mean,
I have him as my wide receiver 16 ahead of Diop.
I just have all the love in the world for Brandon Cooks. I mean,
is that all that needs to be said?
I mean, he has a little bit of a back injury, so like I'm a little bit worried. But I mean, he has been carrying this team for forever now, so it's kind of expected workload for the man who just carries it. I mean,
Mark Ingram, COVID-19, not playing. Alvin Kamara kind of has this backfield to himself. As I mentioned, he's my running back 1 this week, and Cody's dropping. Tevin Coleman out. Ty Johnson and Austin Walter likely to share backfield duties. I'd say Ty Johnson gets the majority of those, I think we would both say.
Yep.
Elijah Moore, quad on IR, kind of kills most of their receiving value, which stinks. Ryan Griffin is active. He's my tight end 20. I don't think that matters. Adrian Peterson's not playing. So Alex Collins and Rashad Penny are the leaders in that case. Julio Jones is active. J.D. McKissick inactive. Curtis Samuel is active. I think that is the majority. Obviously, Tony Pollard, we already talked about, inactive. Right. So, yeah, that is pretty much the report. Unless there are any last-minute questions, I think that is it for us today. Thank you all for watching and asking any questions you may have. That's kind of the point of this show. That's kind of the point of why we're here, is to help you all out. So thank you for trusting us enough, especially me in my Kid Rock outfit and Cody in his, well, not in his home anymore. On the surface, we may not seem like guys you would want to trust with giving you advice, but we appreciate you. Well, now at least you do, because you look like you have invested your money in proper places and turned it into a really nice home. But we appreciate you trusting us with giving you fantasy advice and hanging out with us. We will be back on Tuesday to break down waivers and do something else. We don't know what that something else is yet, but we'll do something else.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
And yeah, we'll see you guys then. Best of luck in your week 14 matchups today.
Oh, yeah. Good luck.